My name is Bridget Mugambe, and I work with the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa as a programs coordinator. Yeah, the My Food is African campaign is an initiative of AFSA to try and promote healthy eating, to promote health diets, to uplift African food. Like the name says, My Food is African. It is to really speak about the beauty of African food. And when I say the beauty, it means how we prepare it, the cultural values attached to it, how we, organize around ourselves around food. So we are trying to promote and uplift African food. We are trying to dispel the narrative, the growing narrative against African food, the narrative that is promoting, cheap imported foods, industrial foods, and treating African foods as maybe unhygienic or not healthy or backward. So we are trying to counter that narrative by promoting and uplifting and reminding people of the value of our food from different parts of Africa. Everyone can join in this campaign, and it's very easy because we all eat food. And I think Africa is still blessed as one of those unique continents where people really relate a lot to their food. So if in Uganda, for example, you can prepare your dish, share the recipe, with others. There are so many avenues now on social media, you could just share your recipes. If you're in Ghana, prepare your fufu. In Nigeria, wherever you are, in Zimbabwe, in Zambia. So you can share your food, talk about your food, what you're proud, why you feel proud about your food, how you eat it, how you prepare it, how it brings you together as a community. So you can participate, in that. Even if you do not share as an individual, take it upon yourself and just say, I'm going to eat African, at least maybe for the most of the month, 3 weeks in a month, I'm only eating African food. So you can participate in different ways. You can write a piece about your food and say, this is my African food, this is how I relate to it, and share it. Everyone is able to share it because we all eat food. We all have access to good African food. Before I get to the key call for most of the citizens, I think one key recommendation would have for our governments, and when I speak about governments, I mean national governments, I mean the regional economic communities, the African Union. One, our policies are currently not strongly recognizing, the value of African foods in terms of contribution to health, in terms of contribution to climate adaptation, in terms of contribution to livelihoods. Our policies are promoting the industrial model of food systems, which is about importation of cheap foods, which is about supermarkets not recognizing the local territorial markets. So the call and what AFSA is trying to do is to promote an African food policy, an African food policy which will look at how do we integrate, African food systems, how do we integrate African foods, how do we integrate African production methods, into our food policies. So we are proposing a food policy at the African Union level that we hope and anticipate will be domesticated at national levels. So my call to citizens, broadly, one, it starts with us as citizens or consumers of food to appreciate our own food, to understand its value, to promote it when you travel elsewhere, when you go to another community, try to understand their food, promote your food. So my call is that we need to be proud of our food. We need to be able to promote it. We need to be able to share it as African citizens. And like I said, Africa is still blessed to be one of those continents that has a diversity of foods, that, we have a richness in foods. So we need to be proud of that and, claim our food as, my food is African, and put it out there.